Printers gets its own special section here when it comes to installation because it's not just as simple as installing a driver. Now, when it comes to installing a driver, I should mention that printers in particular are particular about which order you install the driver. In other words, some printers require that you plug the printer in first and then install the driver. Others require that you install the driver first and then plug in the printer. You should read the manual and find out about your printer first, which way it wants you to do it. So just be very careful about that because printers are picky about that. Now, there's a mention here that printers come in a couple of different ways to install them or to set them up. You can set them up through a port on the computer. In other words, typically a USB port. Older ones had another kind of cable, but modern ones a USB port. And you can plug the printer into that port on the computer, and then you can use sharing to share that printer out to other computers on the network. However, that is probably not the most efficient way to do it. The most efficient way is to use the wireless connection and to set it up over, in other words, give that printer its own IP address so that that printer looks just like another computer on the network. That way everybody has access to it. Now the problem with that is sometimes we see the printer lose its IP address for one reason or another. I've seen it happen too many times, and many people don't know how to reset that up again. So you do need to have a little bit of networking capability, understanding in order to be able to set that up again. So you really should at least write down or keep track of the steps to do that in case that happens. But it's not typically too difficult to do. Every printer is a little bit different in how that's done. I like to have mine over the Wi-Fi network and have it have its own IP address. That tends to be, for me, the most stable way to do it. So let's talk a little bit about what happens then after you install the driver, because this is one of those cases where you really don't want to use just the plug and play method. In other words, you don't want just the Microsoft driver that comes with Windows, because it really is not going to have all the functionality of the printer, especially if the printer's one of the the modern do everything all in one type of printer that does scanning and faxing and copying and all those kinds of things. So for me, most of the time, I really want to use what they call here the best approach, which is to use either the software that you download or the DVD or CD-ROM that came with the printer. And again, I want to emphasize, follow the instructions. This is very important for printers because printers are very particular as to the order in which you do things in general. Now, once you've done all that, now the next trick is you have to add the printer to your printer list. So I'm in a Windows 11 machine here. I'm going to go to Settings, and then I'm going to go to Bluetooth and Devices. And now I have something called Printers and Scanners, and here I can add device. Now you notice that I've actually got 3 printers listed here, my Epson ET3850 series, and then Epson ET3850 network, and then OfficeJet Pro 8600. This one is actually a network printer that is in my wife's office, and it's on the network. This one is on the network and it's in my office, and this is its Wi-Fi connection. And I have this one actually also plugged in as a USB connection. So I can choose in this case which way I want to print in this on this particular printer. So now I have, it looks like 3 different printers, but it's really only 2 printers. This one's connected in 2 different ways. So we have to add the printer, and you would just click add device, add a printer or scanner. You would click add device, and it will look for that device. And since the software, since the driver has already been added, it would show it in that list. Now it's probably not going to find anything. Oh, it did. It did actually find another driver version of this printer. I'm not going to add that right now. So apparently I had 2 different drivers for this printer in here, and I'm not going to use this one because this one's working great for me right now. and then I would just add device and add that to my list. So you have to go through this step as well. So that's it for adding printers.